Hey, this is Judge Waits bringing you my updated assault rifle guide. I wanted to update some things. I noticed that some of the damages changed from my previous guide, so I wanted to update this. I also wanted to put in the burst fire and the semi-automatic rifles. I wanted to show you what they did when they become full auto, when you add that select fire option to it. Now, as you can see in orange, I have them grouped according to how they fire. I also have the higher damage rifles at the top. So the MTAR all the way down to the SMR, those are all your higher damage rifles. And then the Type 25 and the M27, those are your lower damage rifles. Below the lower damage assault, the full auto assault rifles are the 3-round and 4-round burst ones. I have those two grouped by each other. And then at the bottom are the semi-automatic ones, the FAL and the SMR. In the yellow column, you can see how much ammo they start with a magazine, and also with an extended magazine in the next column. Then after that, in the pink colored, the ugly pink colored, that is their damage, how much they do per bullet. So the first number is max damage, that's if they're up close, and then min damage, that's if they're, at a distance shooting somebody. So that really depends on the assault rifle's range, and we'll get into that as we talk about the blue column. Your RPMs are in the next column. That's how fast they're firing. Those are rounds per minute. So you can see the Type 25 is at 900. That's one of the higher ones. And the SMR, when it has select fire on, it's only shooting at 400 rounds per minute. Now this kill range, this is really important. This is how far away you can drop somebody with that number of bullets. So if we look at the FAL or the SMR, you can notice that those two guns can kill with 2 bullets. Obviously they're doing 55 and 50 damage. A standard core player only has 100 health, so you double that and you're going to be at that 100 level. The FAL though has the shorter range. It only can kill with 2 bullets up to 53 feet, and then the SMR can kill with 2 bullets up to 123 feet, so that has an advantage. Unfortunately though, it fires a little bit slower, so you see that balance aspect to the game. Now if you check out the differences between the burst weapons, the SWAT 5.56, whether or not it's firing in burst mode or if it's firing in full auto mode, check out the range differences. If it's firing in burst mode, it can kill with 3 bullets up to 165 feet. If it's firing in full auto, it only can do it up to 7 feet, so it takes a major hit on its range. Now if you look at the M8 though, you can see that it is the same whether or not it's firing in burst mode or whether it's firing in full auto mode. And you can see the difference. The M8A1 can only kill in 3 shots up to 20 feet, but remember this is a 4-round burst weapon, so up to 103 feet it can kill, but it's still lagging behind the SWAT 5.56 in power and everything like that. But once again, look how much faster it can shoot. You can see the M8A1 can shoot 760 rounds per minute as opposed to the SWAT 5.56 can only shoot 450, and that takes into the burst delay. If you notice at the bottom in the notes, the SWAT burst delay is 25 seconds, or a quarter of a second, 0.25 seconds. That means when you pull the trigger and go to pull the trigger for the next one, there is that little bit of delay. The M8 only has a 0.15, so it has an advantage there. Now if we look at the time to kill, those are in seconds. All of them are pretty close. They're basically a 1/10 of a second away from each other, but you can see some guns have an advantage over other guns. I'm looking at the M8A1 shooting, it's going to take somebody out in a 1/10 of a second compared to the M27, which is about a quarter of a second. So you can see at their max and at their min how fast they're going to take somebody out. The next column is the headshot modifier. If you shoot somebody ahead, you get that bonus to the damage depending on where they are at range wise. And speaking of range wise, make sure that you note this. If you put a suppressor on a weapon, you have to take the distance that is in those columns and multiply it by 0.7. So you're taking away about a quarter of the distance, so that 44 for the MTAR for 3 shots is probably going to be somewhere around 33 or somewhere around there. So suppressors are going to reduce that range. Now there's your raise and drop times. You can see they're all pretty close together. There are some differences with the reload time, so you want to check those out and see if that's an important enough factor to weigh in on which assault rifle that you want to use. Now something important to note, the AN-94 fires its first 2 rounds at 900 RPMs instead of its standard 600 RPMs. So keep that in mind. You might want to burst fire that weapon. I've been using it a lot more lately and liking it. So you can check out those things at the bottom. I also have a note about the ADS in and out. They're relatively the same. For some reason, the SMR is 3/100ths of a second slower than all the other assault rifles. Otherwise, they're exactly the same. So there's the stats for each assault rifle. I've been looking these over and kind of comparing them to see if one assault rifle has an advantage over them, and I can see pros and cons to all of them. The only one that I'm having trouble seeing a pro for is the M27, and the reason I'm focusing on that is one of my favorite assault rifles to use for some reason. Yet it's lower in damage, it's slower firing than the Type 25, it has the same RPMs as the MTAR. The MTAR does better damage though, so I'm trying to find a reason that I should keep using it. It almost needs a bump somewhere, you know, give it a bigger magazine or give it better range or something like that. It just doesn't have that. But let me know what you think of this. Boy, I tell you what, I really like the FAL in full auto, especially when I'm playing core. It is just a beast. But let me know what your favorite assault rifle is, and let me know what you think about this video as well. Let me know if you want me to do the LMGs and pistols and sniper rifles. I'm not going to attempt the shotguns because they're just a little bit funky, but let me know if you want to see that other stuff. If you like this video or if it helps you out, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. If it doesn't or you don't like it, give it a thumbs down and let me know why. But as always, guys, take care and God bless.